Okay, so this video is going to be on finding sides using sine, cosine, or tangent. Okay, so here in this problem, we're actually given an angle. Okay, and let's just say we want to solve for C. Okay, so we want to find out what C is. Well, we have a right triangle here. We can't use Pythagorean theorem because we're only given one side, so we can't use that. So we're going to use one of our trig ratios. Let's try sine first. Okay, so we're solving for C here. Well, the reason why I want to use sine is because I want to find a ratio that will include this C, right? I can't use, let's say, cosine, because remember cosine is, so ca, well, that's adjacent. Well, if I were to use cosine, I would have to use this one right here, this B, this measure here. But I don't want to solve for B. I want to solve for C. So the one that I can use is opposite over hypotenuse, because I'm given this one. So I'm going to use my SO, which is my sine. And then our last one is TOA. We can't use that one either. Okay, so we're going to solve for this one using sine. So I have sine, and this time I'm given my theta. I'm given my angle. So 58 degrees is equal to, well, what's the ratio for sine? It's opposite over hypotenuse. So what's opposite? Well, opposite of this is C over, what's my hypotenuse? 7. Okay, so that's how I set it up. Okay, well, now I'm solving for C. I want to get C by itself. So I'm going to multiply by 7. Multiply by 7. So here I get 7 times sine of 58 degrees is equal to C. Okay, now all I do is I take my calculator and plug it in. So I have 7 times the sine of 58 degrees gives me an answer. So here I get 5.94 is equal to C. And there's my answer. Okay, so to kind of recap here, we want to first see, well, what are we solving for? Okay, well, I want to solve for this C first. Okay. Well, if I want to solve for C, I need to find a trig ratio that allows me to solve for it. So here I notice that this is opposite, and I have my hypotenuse, so the best one to use is the sine, so I can solve for C. Okay. Now let's go back and say, well, let's solve for B first. Okay, so say we didn't solve for C, let's solve for B. Okay, we still have the same angle. Well, let's think about, well, which trig ratio should I use to solve for B? Well, here's my theta. To theta, this is going to be my adjacent side here. And then I know I have my hypotenuse. So which trig ratio allows me to use the adjacent side and the hypotenuse? Well, that's our ca, that's our cosine. Okay, so let's set this up. So we have the cosine of 58 degrees is equal to, well, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So my adjacent is going to be B, which I don't know. My hypotenuse is 7. Okay, so now here's the setup. Now I just want to solve for B. I want to get B by itself. I'm going to multiply by 7. So now I have 7 times the cosine of 58 degrees is equal to B. Okay, now I can plug this into my calculator. So I have 7 times the cosine of 58 degrees. So that gives me a measure of about 3.71 is equal to B. Okay, so that's solving for sides using sine, cosine, or tangent.